are waiting for this so that Spain can recover its direction, so that Spain can be a key part in the construction of Europe, so that Spain can once again have the voice that it deserves. In Spain, there is a government that has both incompetency and sectorism. Spain is suffering from a structural migration crisis on the Canary Islands. There's just been the entire collapse of its energy system, and 48 hours later, the government still hasn't given an explanation as to why this collapse happened. A country in which the government, for 2 years, has still not presented the general budgets of the state because they don't have the majority to adopt them. A country that, in the Russian aggression against Ukraine, has its government in bed with the extreme left that supports Putin. A government that has a level of corruption which is threatening the rule of law, the independence of judges, and the governor that is prepared to govern without a parliament, which is exactly what's being done. And so this Spain expects and is calling for an alternative, the alternative represented by the PP under the leadership of Aznar y Feijóo. This excellent meeting shows what we can do as the engine for Europe, and the Spanish PP is one of the large protagonists of this effort, and we have your support. We are going to once again be a success story. Friends, there are very few times that Europe has needed the strength, moderation and commitment of the PP like it does now. We are going to fulfill this. We are going to work in the best spirit of our founding fathers of Europe, where others, it seems, instead of leading, are threatening, instead of talking, want to impose. Where others seem to be tired and abandon the cause of freedom and democracy, we want to ensure that Spain continues to embrace this cause. Europe continues to be the freedom, and freedom is what pushes the future. We have freedom all across Europe and all across the world. Caracas, Havana, Warsaw, all over. We are all working all together for the European cause, which is the cause of freedom. Thank you very much to all of you, and all the very best.
Thank you very much for your inspiring words, Mr. José María Aznar. Well, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, the European People's Party has a long tradition of standing up and supporting those in need in their fight for our shared values, both in Europe and in the rest of the world. We are here to celebrate freedom. We are here to repeat our firm belief in a free world. Well, we want to do this at the same time, but maybe putting a spotlight on those, they really deserve it. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, yes. Yes. Because, believe me, of all the different people who truly and rightly deserve our support, our spotlight, we took one. You guessed? The people of Venezuela. Because they really deserve it. They deserve better. They deserve more. They deserve freedom. Let me introduce a man. Let me introduce a fighter. Let me introduce on this stage, at this 29th Congress of the European People's Party, the democratically elected President of Venezuela, Mr. Edmundo González Urrutia. Welcome.
Estimados.
Dear friends, I'm grateful for the invitation to participate today at the Congress of the European People's Party and for the opportunity to greet so many good friends who, for years, have been supporting Venezuelans in our struggle to regain freedom and democracy in our country. We Venezuelans know that the European People's Party is a bastion in the defense of democratic freedoms, always seeking understanding, while at the same time never sacrificing fundamental values. The political forces gathered here play a profoundly constructive role, not just in Europe, but also throughout the entire world. This task is more important today than ever. The world is going through particularly turbulent times, and I'm not talking here simply and principally about the instability of the markets, migration problems, or wars. I am referring in particular to the setback that democracy has been experiencing in many places in the world. For several years now, democracy have been losing ground to the advance of autocracies. And this means no more and no less that the political form that characterizes the West is going through its most sensitive moment in this century. Venezuela, unfortunately, was one of the first victims of this new authoritarian wave. We know very well, and we've known from relatively early on, what the characteristics of the new authoritarianisms of the 21st century are. And for this precise reason, we have been amongst the first to learn very difficult lessons in this area. We have learnt how the autocracies of our time operate. We have learnt how they rely on fake news, and we've learnt how they adulterate the legal system and how they exploit the inadequacies of democracies to capture popular support that then allows them to dismantle the rule of law. And we've also seen firsthand how these new autocracies cooperate with each other to sow discord, using selective violence against those who fight to preserve the constitutional order. And this is why we can say that the multiple problems experienced by democracy can only be solved with more democracy. And this requires mass mobilization of citizens in defense of their freedoms. And it also requires extending solidarity and cooperation of all freedom fighters beyond national borders. As a result of a quarter of a century of uninterrupted citizen struggle, my country, Venezuela, is closer than ever to regaining its freedom and democracy. The sovereign will of the Venezuelan people was clearly expressed on the 28th of July of last year. And we, Venezuelans, continue to work both inside and outside Venezuela to enforce that popular mandate. We need your support for this. We know that we can count on you. And it's time for all of us to stand firm in this common purpose, because the path will always be a clear path for those who never stray from their values. Thank you very much.
Well, we are nearing to block the last resolution's work, so I'd like to invite on the stage once again my dearest Vice President Andrzej Halicki and Patrick Fowler. No, Patrick. Where is Patrick? No, Patrick? Oh, yes, you are Patrick. And where is Andrzej Halicki? Ah, yes. Okay, here he is. Okay, well, let's finish with our work.
Thank you very much. Ready to work, the third block of votings. So we have to start fast.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes,
what do we have to vote?
I think that timing could not have been better because the next resolution, by chance or as we organize it, is on Venezuela. So perfect timing. It's a resolution which was tabled by our Swedish Christian Democrats. It's on the systemic repression in Venezuela, human rights defenders and political opponents in the aftermath of the manipulated elections of July 28, 2024. So this is exactly the perfect timing and moment. And I see that Magnus Berntsen, Member of Parliament and also KD spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, is already ready to present this very important resolution on this very timing in this moment. Please, Magnus, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, today we stand together to send a clear and unwavering message. We will not be silenced in the face of repression and injustice in Venezuela. The Venezuelan people exercised their sovereign will on the July 28th last year, electing Edmundo González Urrutia as their president. And yet, instead of respecting the choice, the Maduro regime responded with systematic repression, fabricated charges, and widespread human rights violations. This regime clings to power through fraud, violence, and intimidation, while millions are forced to exile. Independent observers like the Carter Center and Human Rights Watch have exposed the brutal truth. The election was neither free, nor fair, nor democratic. Failure to stand by the Venezuelan people now risks normalizing authoritarianism, not only in Venezuela, but also across all of Latin America, empowering destabilizing forces like Russia, China, and Iran. We must be clear. Nicolas Maduro's inauguration is an illegitimate intrusion of power, and we must reaffirm our commitment to democratic principles by increasing diplomatic and legal pressure on the regime. Let us honor the courage of leaders like Maria Corina Machado and Venezuela's Venezuelans that we have here today, and the millions who have been risking their lives for freedom. Let us show that the value of democracy, justice, human dignity are not to be negotiable. Tyranny must never go unchallenged. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Magnus. We can vote on systematic repression in Venezuela. Who is in favor of this resolution? Use your cards. Thank you. Who is against? Now we are voting against. I understand photo is important. Yeah? Okay, so once again, no, any against. Yeah? Okay. Any abstentions? Also no. Thank you very much. Bravo for you. This was very important resolution. So now we can go to the emergency resolutions. I don't like to say that some resolutions are more important than the others, but these are really very important, a very political one. So the first one is on Ukraine. But
Yes, and we have many speakers registered, so I ask here also to keep the 1 minute time limit. But this is the resolution Solidarity with Ukraine, and I ask the chairman of our member party Tirs El-Kidei, Laurinas Kasiunas, Member of Parliament, to introduce this resolution for 2 minutes, and then we have 4 speakers with 1 minute interventions. If Laurinas is here, yes, we can start. Ukraine, solidarity with Ukraine, one of our most important, of course, resolutions also today. Please.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Together with our Ukrainian and the Baltic EPP allies, we have proposed an emergency resolution in support of Ukraine. In this resolution, we underline the necessity to include Ukraine and European allies fully into any ceasefire or so-called peace agreement, to guarantee Ukraine's sovereignty, its territorial integrity, and its transatlantic aspirations. We agreed to accelerate accession negotiations with Ukraine, to start effectively use the Rearm Europe plan, build up new EU instruments based on this initiative, bring forward the European Commission proposals to support the investments and procurement for ramping up the Ukrainians' defense industry, encourage cooperation with the Ukraine defense industry, start increasing defense spending and raise direct military support to Ukraine, maximize and accelerate military technical assistance to Ukraine. Also, initiate concrete action in 2025 on the use of immobilized Russian assets. Extend sanctions to other key Russian economic sectors. Also, we welcome the launch of a coalition of the willing to enable the European-led enforcement of an eventual peace agreement. We as a European People's Party must lead and we must act. I urge all our family to support this resolution. Thank you very much.
thank you very much. Thank you, Laurinas. We have 4 speakers, so 1 minute per person. I would like to remind you.
Yes,
Who's the first?
First one is Ivana Klimpush-Tsintsadze, member of the Verkhovna Rada of the Ukrainian Parliament and former Deputy Prime Minister. Please, Ivana.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, European People's Party has been showing its readiness to lead. And leadership means taking difficult decisions on difficult issues and taking on board the people with you. So it is definitely important to care about social care, about development, about prosperity, but if values and principles are not being protected, unfortunately we cannot count that we will have a prosperous and ensured future. Ukrainian people are very grateful to all of you for rendering this great support to Ukraine over these years. But we should not right now be misled by the talks with the peace being so-called around the corner. Unfortunately, Russian terrorists, Russian monster did not give up on the ideas to kill, extinguish Ukrainian people and undermine and ruin your unity and your strength and your capacity and your way of life. And if Russia is allowed to do that, it will be major failure and defeat of the West. We cannot let this happen. So we are hoping that to prevent that, you are ready to take action. So we are calling on supporting this resolution, but also, even more so, on taking immediate action on backing Ukraine much more stronger than we have done up to now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We come to the second intervention of 1 minute with Pablo Hispan, Member of Parliament. He's the chairman of our EPP group in the Parliamentary Assembly in the Council of Europe. From Partido Popular, Pablo Hispan, please.
Thank you very much. I stand here today to support our resolution on Ukraine. I can only reiterate the words of our Ukrainian colleagues speaking at our opening ceremony yesterday. After 3 years of war of invasion against Ukraine and Europe, we must raise our voice and say that there cannot be peace in Ukraine without Ukraine. Peace for territory is to defeat the aggressor. It's a guarantee for more war. A cold peace will be followed by a new hot war. That's why we cannot accept that Ukraine could lose any inch of its land. The only guarantee for Ukraine are the European institutions, NATO and EU, the European weapons and the European economic support. We must draw a line in the sand. No aggressor will be rewarded by being readmitted to the community of nations and by lifting of full and comprehensive sanctions and the principle that the aggressor must pay. Congress, I urge you to support for this resolution, and I urge to go home to your homes and continue to support Ukraine, and as always, as you can. Slava Ukraine.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pablo. And now I would like to ask my close colleague, Emmanuel Zingeris. Emmanuel, the floor is yours. 1 minute for you.
Dear colleagues, dear friends, we should support the resolution. Well, our journey of freedom started in the Vendetta side, in the time of the 90s. In the time of the 90s, we were successful destroying the Soviet Communist Empire, Warsaw Pact. And now the war is about that. Moscow tried to rebuild the Soviet Empire and their influences with all their synchronized allies, North Korea and Iran. We will not let to break the international law. We will say no in this resolution, juridically saying yes for integrity of the soil, integrity of the land of Ukraine. No one country recognized Baltic captivity during 50 years of Soviet occupation. No one country from the European Union should support the idea that the part of Ukraine will belong to Russia. That will be invitation to the second aggression of Russia towards us, towards Baltic countries, Poland, and our continent. So, firm support for our APP ideology. Let's lead Europe and take on our shoulders responsibility for integrity of territory of Ukraine and say no to Moscow. Thank you so much for those 2 fantastic days.
Thank you, Emanuelis. And the next speaker, Urmas Reinsalu, President of Isama Party from Estonia. The floor is yours.
Dear brothers and sisters, the truth is not arbitrary. And we are now, during the course of this war, seeing attempts to erode Western determination and the paradigm. The EPP has been an engine to create, to support victim state and resist aggressor. Putin is playing on the card of manipulation and false flag signals and on Western fatigue. And we have clearly and loudly say that we will remain consistent. Victim is victim, and aggressor is and remains aggressor. And we need to continue with the paradigm of resisting the aggressor and supporting continuously victims. Thank you.
Thank you, Urmas. Thank you all. The first emergency resolution, solidarity with Ukraine. Who is in favor? Let's show your cards. Thank you. Thank you. Who is against? Now we are voting against the resolution. Nobody. One is against. Any abstentions? Please count because I cannot see all the cards. Twenty-eight abstentions. Thank you very much. Is strong majority. The resolution is adopted. Thank you. We can go to the next very important resolution, which is one of these emergency resolutions. I said I would like to thank the initiators, but also the people who've been yesterday in very constructive approach accepted the text. This is on Armenia, also very political resolution. Patrick,
yes,
you can present
we
it.
ask so current political situation in Armenia, emergency resolution tabled by our Lithuanian and Slovakian member parties, and ask Miriam Lexman, member of the European Parliament from KDH, to present 2 minutes of resolution, and afterwards Rasa Juknevičiene for 1 minute intervention. Please, Miriam.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank our associated parties of the EPP for hard work to cooperate and to find a consensus on this text, as Andrei has already mentioned. With this resolution, we want to support the latest political developments in Armenia and assist Armenia on its initiative to start the path towards the European Union. We want to support the desire of Armenian people to strengthen the rule of law and democracy in their country. And we want to strongly support Armenia and stand by Armenia in its historic shift of its geopolitical conditions and geopolitical orientation. And thus, we want to allow for a stronger economic cooperation and cooperation in the field of development and support of all reforms Armenia needs. The EPP values very highly that Armenia is trying to do its utmost to normalize its relations with the neighbors. We really appreciate its constructive dialogue with Turkey, particularly today, in these days when we observe the 110th anniversary of the Armenian genocide. We see and appreciate the hard work and lead in the peace negotiations with Azerbaijan, despite the 2023 military offense, where many people, dozens of thousands of people, of Armenians, were displaced. We call that all political prisoners are immediately and unconditionally released. And we also recall the guaranteed right of return of the Armenian ethnic minority to Nagorno-Karabakh. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give our full support to Armenia on its path to the European Union. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Miriam. I would like to ask Rasa Juknevičiene to take the floor. Rasa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. On behalf of the Lithuanian delegation, I urge you to vote in favor of this resolution. After centuries of affiliation with Russia, Armenia is trying to find its way towards Europe. Some forces manipulate the narrative that no one is waiting for Armenians in Europe. They say that after the start of consideration of the law on European integration, they did not receive any message of support from the EU. We, the EPP, say that this is not true. Armenia is Europe, and we need you together with the Georgians and other peoples of the South Caucasus. The oldest state in Europe to officially recognize Christianity, Armenia, is going back to its roots, a nation that suffered genocide, lost much of its territory and people, wants a peaceful life, and says that Europe is their home. We, the EU, must accept the extended hand of the Armenians and build strong bridges of cooperation. This is not only a chance for Armenia, but also for the whole Black Sea region and us, the EU.
Thank you very much, Rasa. This is very important voting, important resolutions, and I would like to ask you also for attention once more. And all those colleagues who are staying in the end and they would like to talk, well, let's do this outside the venue because it is difficult to count the votes and to do it properly. So let's come to the voting on current political situation in Armenia. It's very important to see all the votes who are in favor. Who is in favor? Thank you. Who is against? Is anybody? No, I cannot see any. So any abstentions? How many? 1, 2, 3. 3 abstentions. Thank you very much. The resolution is adopted. Thank you, one, for the initiative.
Next, we come to the third emergency resolution on Georgia, expressing solidarity with Georgian people and demanding new, free and fair elections. I ask Tina Pokuchava, the chairwoman of our member party United National Movement from Georgia, for 2 minutes to explain to us the main points of this emergency resolution. Tina, please.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Georgia is on the verge of a full authoritarian breakdown. This is not just about democratic backsliding. This is a geopolitical tipping point. The consolidation of a Kremlin-backed authoritarian regime in Georgia and on the Black Sea would be a strategic defeat for Europe. If Georgia is lost, Armenia's shift westward becomes unattainable. Georgia will either become a Russian military outpost or, for our common European peace, a shield against Russia. This is the choice. Georgians have made a choice, and that is a European one. And therefore, we must stand in full solidarity, and we urge for your support of this resolution to show to the Georgians that their voices are heard and their protest is seen, up against the terrible government repressions, up against arrests, up against the fact that we have over 50 political prisoners, up against the fact that civil society is under attack every single day. We hope for European support. This is a moment of European leadership, and we know that the EPP will once again show that we are the leading political family in Europe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tina. Full solidarity with you, and I would like to ask Rasa Junkneviciene once again. Rasa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Georgia is one of the oldest Christian nations on our continent. Today we face a very real risk of losing European Georgia to Kremlin-style Georgia. Georgia has been drifting away from Europe under the rule of Bidzina Ivanishvili for years. But the rigged parliamentary elections in October 2024 started a new chapter of Georgia's downfall. Brutal repressions, violence, arrests, all out of Kremlin's playbook. Once a trusted European ally, Georgia is turning into a Putin's puppet. This is not just a huge loss for all freedom-loving Georgians, but a loss of a strategic ally at the Black Sea region, which is crucial for the European security. Current Georgian regime is an example of a successful internal state capture by the Kremlin. This might also happen to an EU member state if we don't stop this infection in time. Debyzhinization of Georgia is our investment into our future and security. Every country that cares about the future of Europe must immediately impose sanctions on Bidzina Ivanishvili and all those responsible for the rigged elections and repressions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rasa. Thank you for your activity, also showing our presence at Tbilisi during the protest. Thank you very much, Rasa. So, who is in favor of the resolution expressing solidarity with Georgians? Raise your voting cards. Thank you. Who is against? I cannot see. Is any? No. Thank you. Any abstentions? Let's check the abstentions. No, I cannot see any. Thank you very much. Thank you for the resolution. Resolution was adopted.
We come to the next one, EPP Emergency Resolution number 4. We have in a very few days, on 11th of May, elections in Albania, and our member party and opposition party, the DPA, tabled also a resolution on electoral integrity in Albania for free and fair elections there. And Albana Vokshi, president of the Women's Forum of DPA and also EPP Women, vice president, will explain us in 2 minutes the main points of this emergency resolution. Please, Albana.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Autocracy is rising once again as a threat to freedom and democracy. And once again, we are called to confront it at any cost. 333 days, political house arrest sacrificed Ali Berisha from his own freedom to protect opposition and pluralism in Albania. 1 year in prison is serving a young MP, Saliani, to protect freedom of speech and fundamental rights. All leaders of opposition are being threatened with court cases and filing reports in the prosecutor's office. History has taught a bitter truth. Compromising with authoritarians is not a solution. Sooner or later, these regimes create instability, conflict, and chaos. That's why today we must draw a red line. We must oppose firmly every abuse of power, every manipulation of elections, every violation of people's will. Albanian citizens are being systematically denied in the last decade the most fundamental right, the right to vote freely, fairly, without fear. Here I have hundreds of cases of legal violations from Socialist Party in the last month. Many more I couldn't bring with me. No separation of state and the party, misuse of public resources, links of majority exponents with organized crime, vote buying, threats and intimidation of voters, clearly written in all OSCE ODIHR reports in the last elections. But every day, in every corner of Albania, socialists arrogantly continue to break the law because they think they control everything. But when the right to freely vote is taken, every other right, it becomes an illusion. Today, I raise my voice, not just for my party or for the opposition, but for every Albanian citizen who still believes in democracy. Ours is not a partisan fight. It is a democratic emergency. If we, EPP, remain silent now, we risk watching democracy across the Balkans and beyond slip into irreversible decline. We must act together to send a clear message to the corrupt regime in Albania and every other corrupt regime. Democracy is not negotiable. We must never trade democracy for so-called stability. We must never allow the people's interest to be sacrificed for private political gain. What we ask today through this resolution is support for securing to Albanian people the most fundamental right, the right to vote, so every Albanian in the upcoming elections can vote freely, secretly, directly and securely, so that they and only they will decide their future. Let us stand united. Let us defend democracy, starting with the right to vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Albana. Thank you, and we can go to voting on the resolution on Albania. Who is in favor? Who is in favor? Use your cards. Thank you. Who is against? Against. Now we are voting against. No, no, I cannot see any. Any abstentions? Also, we have no. Thank you very much. So the resolution is adopted.
We have three more to go. Please bear with us, and also the speakers to be disciplined. We have the next one on the urgent need to release all hostages held by Hamas. This was tabled by our Christian Democrats, Sweden and ÖVP Austria. And we ask a member of European Parliament, Alice Teodorescu-Maive, to explain us 2 minutes these emergency resolutions, and afterwards Sari Essayah and Emanuel Singeris for very short interventions. Please, Alice.
Thank you. Dear EPP colleagues, there are moments in history when silence becomes complicity. October 7th, 2023 was one such moment. A day when Hamas unleashed unspeakable horror upon innocent people, massacring, torturing, abducting men, women, children, even Holocaust survivors. It was the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Shoah. The resolution before us is not about politics, it's about humanity. It demands the immediate, unconditional release of all hostages, people who have been subjected to unimaginable cruelty, hidden away, dehumanized into tools of terror. The treatment of those still held in Gaza is a stain on the conscience of the civilized world. We cannot be silent. Hostage-taking is a crime against humanity, a war crime and a violation of every principle the EPP stands for. Their freedom is not a bargaining chip. It is a moral imperative. Peace can only begin with the end of terror. Without the release of the innocent, there can be no meaningful path forward, no genuine negotiations, and no lasting security. By adopting this resolution, we are sending a clear and a powerful message. Terrorism and hostage-taking will not find any justification, no excuse, and no acceptance in the EPP. Therefore, I urge you all, stand for human rights, stand for international law, and stand with the victims. Support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you for initiative. And we have 2 speakers now, 1 minute per person. Sari Essayah is the first chairwoman of KD Finland.
Thank you. I would like to thank Swedish Christian Democrats for bringing up this important resolution. Indeed, what happened on the 7th of October 2023 is a tragedy and an attack against all the Western values we know. We as EPP, as the European voice for human rights, justice and security, must be very clear on our message that there is only one way forward, and that is to free the hostages. There should be no buts or contextual understanding. No one of us would accept that kind of an attack by a terrorist organization in our own countries. So I'm very much in favor of this resolution.
Thank you, Sari. And the next speaker, Emanuel Singeris, Vice President of EPP Group in Parliamentary Assembly in Council of Europe, Lithuania.
Thank you, Andrei. We are after a few days remembering 80 years of end of Second World War and the most terrible ingredient of Second World War, a Holocaust. So more like 80–90% of European Jewish people were killed in brutal way, children, women. On the 7th of October, We have an attack on the very territory of small state of Israel. Women, children, elderly people were killed, raped, and by the Hamas, who are torturing Palestinian people too, the allies of Moscow, allies of Iran. So we are just expressing our attitude to the Second World War and the Holocaust today through our expression no to the terror of Hamas, no to anti-Semitism, and no to the victims who now are captive. The captive people who are now in Hamas' hands should be returned to Israel. So means in favor of peace in Middle East, but at the same time against totalitarian terror groups who are taking over the initiative and allies of Iran and of Moscow. We are supporting democracy, we are supporting memory of the Holocaust, and this echo of Holocaust should be not accepted on the 7th of October, like a 7th of October event. So that is our idea to support the victims of Second World War and against the captivity of peaceful citizens of the State of Israel. Thank you.
Thank you, Emanuelis. Thank you. We can go to vote. Who is in favor of this resolution on the hostages held by Hamas? Raise your cards. Who is in favor? Thank you very much. Who is against? I don't see any. Any abstentions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yeah? 7, okay. 7 altogether. Thank you. 7 abstentions. So the resolution is adopted. We can go to the... Thank you very much. We can go to the next one.
Yes, 2 more to go. The Cyprus problem. Over 50 years of occupation and division. This was tabled by our member party, the Democratic Rally of Cyprus. We already heard the President of the Republic speaking. And we would like to invite Anita Dimitriou, Member of Parliament, President of our member party, and President of the House of Representatives of Cyprus. Please, Anita, on the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dear ladies, dear gentlemen, on such a defining moment for the EPP, one that will shape the years to come, it is only right and clear to have a principle resolution on the Cyprus problem, and that will form our common voice. As Democratic Rally, we are grateful to our political family for its long-standing support, but Cyprus remains a victim of Turkey's illegal occupation for over 5 decades, a violation not only for our national sovereignty, but also for the very values upon which the European Union is founded. As correctly was mentioned before, we cannot support any aggressor. A victim is always a victim, and the aggressor remains the aggressor. With this resolution, we call on to our political family to reaffirm its commitment for a just, comprehensive and viable solution to the Cyprus problem in accordance with the relevant UN Security Council resolutions and the European Union principles. We ask that the EPP firmly reject Turkey's unacceptable proposal for a two-state solution, a call for the immediate reversal of all illegal and unilateral actions committed by Turkey in Varosha. We underline a critical truth. No European architecture security can be complete while a member state remains under foreign military occupation. Respect for the sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity of the Republic of Cyprus is essential for Europe's credibility and strategic autonomy. Finally, we urge EPP to stand behind the UN-led efforts for the resumption of negotiations following the formal 5-party meeting held in Geneva. It is time to send a clear and united message that Europe will not compromise on its principle, nor will it remain silent in the face of continuous occupation on its own soil. This resolution is not just a political statement. It's a commitment to justice, to peace, and to a united Europe where no member state is left behind. Let us stand firm, let us stand together, let us stand for Cyprus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anita. Very important words. So we can go to vote. Who is in favor? Who is in favor of this resolution on Cyprus? Thank you. Who is against? I cannot see any. No one. No. Yes. And no any abstentions? Also, I can not see any. Yes. 0-0. So, thank you very much. 100% of support for the initiative.
So we come to the last one. We are almost done. We come to Belarus. Of course, all attention, full attention on Ukraine, but we cannot forget our friends and partners in Belarus. So we have a resolution, the last one, crackdown on religious freedom in Belarus, a threat to fundamental rights.
I would like to ask Vital Romaszewski, co-chair of Belarus Christian Democrats. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Patrick. Mr. President, dear colleagues, friends, thank you very much for the opportunity to adopt the resolution about violation freedom of conscience of Belarus. As you know, since 2020, regime Lukashenko to destroy all political parties, independent media, trade unions, and now they are trying to destroy all religious organizations, independent churches that refuse to repeat propaganda from Lukashenko and Putin. Regime passed a new discriminatory law and are now requiring all communities to re-register by July this year. This means that many of them will lose their registration. At the same time, taking part in any activity in our country of unregistered organization can lead up to 2 years in prison. New law allows sending people to prison just for holding prayer meeting at home without permission from the government. A striking example of the current situation in the case of Catholic priest Henryk Akalatovich, sentenced in December last year to 11 years in prison for espionage on behalf of Vatican. There has not been a case like this in Europe since the collapse of the Soviet Union. This resolution is a very important sign from EPP to Belarusian society, sign of solidarity and attention. I very ask you for support this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vital. Thank you very much. This is really very important to say loudly our protest to the examples which was described by Vitaly. So this is the last voting. I would like to ask you again, who is in favor of this resolution? Thank you. Who is against? Who is against? Well, thank you. Any abstentions? No. Thank you very much. Very strong support for your initiative. Our colleagues from Belarus can count on you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and yes, we did it. 20 resolutions, and thanks to all of you. We had 3 resolutions committed. It was a lot of work, and here I would also like to say thank you to the EPP headquarters, to the team, to Kalina, and also Anna. We had an intern with us 2 months now, and Anna had her birthday yesterday, and she was working the whole day in the resolution committee on the resolution, so only in a teamwork we could have done this, and thank you all. But most importantly, of course, thanks to our president, to Manfred Weber for his support, for his guidance during this whole process, and to our 2 co-chairs, to Vice President Halicki and our Secretary General, to Thanasis. Only in a team we could do it, and I ask you to close and give back to the presenter.
Thank you very much. Afternoon we can celebrate the birthday, but now I would like to thank you for all the initiatives, for activity, and also for some kind of a discipline because we did it. We have very important resolutions adopted today. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Gentlemen, congratulations for your work. Great job. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Yes, we are nearing at the end of the Congress because all campaigning were done, last talks were held. Indeed, the votes had been counted also. So, well, you are guessing what's coming up. One of the best parts of this Congress. You're guessing? Of course. It's now time to proclaim the result of the election of our 10 vice presidents, our treasurer, and our secretary general. So, may I therefore please ask to the voting committee chair on the stage, please, Mrs. Esther de Lang. Welcome. Well, you have always counted the votes and also the results. So,
yes, I do.
Here you are.
I do indeed. Quite a lot of numbers for you at this moment. Let me start with the vote for the EPP Secretary General with our candidate Dolores Montserrat. The number of votes cast, 562. We had only 4 invalid and blank votes, and therefore we had 558 valid votes. Voted with yes, 518. Voted with no, 40. That means that Dolores Montserrat is elected with 93% of the vote. I see a very happy president with a very happy Secretary General, but this is only the beginning of the results because, of course, we also had an EPP treasurer to elect with our candidate François-Xavier Bellamy. There we also had 562 vote casts, only 4 invalid or blank votes, 558 valid votes again, voted with yes, 507, voted with no, 51, which means that François-Xavier Bellamy is elected with 91% of the votes. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, they will have a team of 10 vice presidents to support them in their work. And for this important election, we also had 562 vote casts. We had 16 invalid and blank votes, so we had 546 valid votes. The following are elected with 452 votes as First Vice President Petteri Orpo. And then with 438 votes, Antonio Tajani. I'm only getting to number 3 here, so this is promising to be quite a big celebration. 432 votes, David McAllister. The next 380, 80 that is, votes Siegfried Muresan. Next up, with 368 votes, Andrzej Halicki. And then, with 362 votes, Dubravka Suica. I come to the next with 356 votes, Magnus Brunner. Next up, with 328 votes, Kostis Hatzidakis. Up next in this excellent team with 321 votes, Mairead McGuinness. And then, finally, as our 10th Vice President with 287 votes, Paolo Rangel. Which, ladies and gentlemen, completes the list of the 10 vice presidents. I give for the protocol that Maria Gabriel obtained 215 votes and Wouter Beke obtained 189 votes. And I do wish the best of luck to all those that will be your upcoming presidency. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before letting this officially disclosed by the President Partido Popular, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, I am very happy to give the floor to the newly elected Secretary General, Dolors Montserrat. Please welcome her on the stage.
very much. I'm going to speak just my language at the beginning. Benvinguts a València, la terra del nostre vicepresident del Parlament Europeu, l'Esteban González Pons. Muchas gracias a todos por vuestro apoyo. Es un privilegio estar aquí, en mi país, junto a vosotros. Y un honor representaros durante los próximos 3 años. Dear President Manfred Weber, thank you for your trust to lead the EPP together from now on. I will be loyal to you and to all EPP. Ich bin am Deutsch lernen. Ich bin mir sicher, dass du Spanisch auch lernen wirst. Die Spanisch-Deutsch Zusammenarbeit wird essentiell für die Zukunft der EPP Group sein. Querido presidente Feijóo, muchísimas gracias por la confianza que has depositado en mí para que el Partido Popular sea cada vez más fuerte y decisivo en Europa. Hoy todo el Partido Popular español y europeo está aquí para decirte que estamos a tu lado, que tienes todo nuestro apoyo, que seguiremos trabajando contigo cada día para que seas el próximo presidente del Gobierno de España. Porque contigo España recuperará su prestigio y Europa ganará un líder y un socio fiable en el Consejo. Dear President of the European Commission, dear Ursula, and dear President of the European Parliament, dear Roberta Metsola, thank you for coming to Spain and for being a model of woman leadership for Europe and the world. It is an honor to welcome you to our home, which is also yours. And I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the prime ministers from European governments. You are the cornerstone of our party in each member of the Union. Chers commissionnaires, merci beaucoup pour votre personnel ici e pour diffuser le valeurs européenne. E cari presidenti dei partiti, grazie per il vostro impegno che guida il nostro progetto comune all'interno della Unione Europea e al di fuori della stessa. Grazie mille, amico Tajani. Thank you, dear Secretary General Bacolas, for your commitment and your work all over these last 3 years. Y sobre todo, queridos delegados y miembros de todas las asociaciones del Partido Popular Europeo, pero sobre todo mi cariño a la delegación española, no solo a los 22 diputados españoles, sino a todos los voluntarios y a todos los representantes del Partido Popular que habéis venido de todos los rincones de España. Y sobre todo también al futuro presidente del Comité de las Regiones, Juanma Moreno, que estoy convencidísima que junto a Sari haréis un tándem increíble. Hace apenas unos meses, Valencia vivió uno de los episodios más trágicos de su historia reciente. Hoy, desde esta región herida pero valiente, quiero comenzar rindiendo homenaje a las víctimas, a las familias y a quienes arriesgaron su vida por salvar otras. Os digo que no traemos solo palabras, sino que traemos compromiso de que Europa no olvida, no abandona y no deja a nadie atrás. Porque una Europa libre empieza por ser una Europa justa y solidaria. Y hoy me presento ante ustedes como catalana, española y europea. Cataluña me mostró que el nacionalismo puede envenenar una tierra maravillosa. España, que la unidad es el refugio y la solución a todos los problemas. Europa me ha enseñado el valor de la paz y la solidaridad. Y ser mujer, que la igualdad no puede ser un mero eslogan, sino un compromiso que nos incumbe absolutamente a todos. Europa, esa es la Europa en la que creo. La Europa de la filosofía clásica, el derecho romano, el humanismo cristiano y la libertad de las naciones. I assume the role of Secretary General of the European People's Party with honor and responsibility. and above all, with a deep conviction, Europe will only exist if it remains free. A free Europe, that is our cause, our purpose, our horizon. Una Europa libre en la que cada nación conserve su voz, cada ciudadano su dignidad y cada generación su esperanza. Una Europa libre donde los pueblos no teman, las ideas no callen, las fronteras no dividan. Una Europa que no se defina por el miedo, sino por la confianza y el liderazgo, y que se construya desde los valores. Europa ha sido siempre un espacio de libertad, conquistada, nunca regalada. Sabemos lo que cuesta defenderla, porque también sabemos lo que ocurre cuando se pierde. Por eso hoy, en este momento de desafíos globales y de amenazas externas e internas, debemos recordar quiénes somos y qué defendemos. Europa no es equidistante, Europa es libre. Y solo seguirá siendo libre si mantenemos la independencia de nuestra política, la solidez de nuestra economía, la vitalidad de nuestra cultura, el control de nuestras fronteras y la fortaleza de nuestras instituciones. La liberté n'est pas seulement un droit individuel, c'est une architecture collective. Elle repose sur des piliers solides, la raison, les droits et la dignité. Telles sont nos racines communes et lorsque l'Europe est fidèle à elle-même, elle est capable d'humilier. Pero no basta con invocar la libertad, hay que protegerla, porque hoy la libertad europea está amenazada. Desde fuera, por potencias que siembran la desinformación, chantajean con la energía y agreden con la fuerza. Y desde dentro, por quienes relativizan nuestros valores, quienes utilizan el miedo y por quienes creen que debilitar Europa es una forma de redimir sus frustraciones. Y no lo vamos a permitir. Freedom must be defended firmly with coherence and courage. And that is what we will do in the European People's Party. Defenderemos el Estado de Derecho en cada uno de los Estados miembros, porque donde se socava la justicia, se erosiona la libertad. Donde se debilita la democracia, se fortalece el autoritarismo. Y donde se tolera la corrupción, se traiciona la confianza ciudadana. We will defend a free, strong and competitive economy, because there is no freedom without employment, nor justice without opportunities. Where growing is not a privilege, but a real aspiration. Where bureaucracy does not oppress businesses, farmers and fishermen. We will promote innovation, industry and the digital market, and we will defend our small and medium enterprises and the self-employed who get Europe up and running every day, because only a Europe that creates wealth can sustain its social model. We will defend Europe's energy and technological sovereignty, because we will not be free if we depend on our enemies. We will fight climate change by making it compatible with economic growth, and we will do so without dogmas, smartly and with common sense. Defenderemos la libertad de las nuevas generaciones. Nuestros jóvenes no nos piden discursos vacíos, nos piden futuro, y les daremos acceso a la educación, a la vivienda, al empleo de calidad. Porque Europa no puede ser un continente para el recuerdo, tiene que ser un lugar donde aún se pueda soñar. Y defenderemos nuestras fronteras. Y defenderemos nuestras fronteras con firmeza y solidaridad, protegiendo a quienes huyen del horror, pero luchando contra las mafias criminales que trafican con vidas y expulsando a quienes vienen a Europa a delinquir. We will defend a Europe that speaks with one voice in the world. We will continue to support Ukraine, because defending its freedom is defending our own. We will promote a real European Defence Union in cooperation with NATO. but capable of acting on its own, because freedom is protected by values, yes, but also by means. And yes, we will defend the unity of Europe, because a fragmented Europe is a weak Europe. This is not time for apathy or empty rhetoric. This is not time for arguments or divisions. This is not the time for selfishness or nationalism. This is the time for determination, for principles, and for action. We must stand united against those who use fear to divide us, united against those who attack democracy from within, unis contre le populisme, le nationalisme et l'extrême qui veulent briser l'Europe, uniti contro chi comprende il potere solo attraverso di la forza, unidos para vivir más seguros, más fuertes, para inspirar al mundo y llevar nuestros valores a todos los países que sueñan con la libertad y la democracia, como Venezuela, Cuba y Nicaragua. Freedom, justice, and dignity are not negotiable. We will not stand by and watch history unfold. We will continue to write it. We are at one of the most critical moments in our history, but we are prepared to emerge stronger. We have the talent, the experience, and the human capital to do so. And most importantly, we have the leadership of the European People's Party, porque somos la Europa del descubrimiento de América, la primera globalización, la Europa que pintó la Capilla Sixtina, escribió el Quijote, compuso la novena sinfonía, la Europa que descubrió la penicilina, descifró el genoma humano y midió el universo, la Europa que derrotó el COVID y trasplantó el primer corazón artificial, la Europa que inventó la democracia, los derechos humanos y la idea radical de que todos los hombres y mujeres nacen libres. Somos la Europa de quienes imaginaron lo imposible y lo hicieron realidad. Por eso, como miembros del Partido Popular Europeo y herederos de los padres fundadores, os digo, no hay límites ni horizontes. Este desafío ya no es solo económico, es político, pero sobre todo es moral. Hagámoslo con fuerza, con convicción y con ilusión. Y hagámoslo desde Valencia hasta Bruselas, desde Madrid a Roma, Berlín, París, Varsovia, Tallinn, Helsinki, Kiev. Digamos alto y claro que Europa no se hereda, Europa se merece, se construye y se defiende. Y eso será así mientras haya hombres y mujeres dispuestos a cuidarla y mientras sigamos unidos, esta casa, la casa de los libres, no se cierra ni se cerrará jamás. Muchísimas gracias. ¡Viva el Partido Popular Europeo! ¡Viva España! ¡Viva Europa!
Congratulations, Dolors Montserrat, and now it's the time. I give the floor for the final words and closing this Congress to the President of Partido Popular, and as Dolors said, the future President of our country, Spain. Welcome on this stage, Alberto Núñez Feijóo.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Queridas amigas y queridos amigos, es un honor tomar la palabra en el cierre de este Congreso. Quiero felicitar en primer lugar a nuestro amigo, al presidente Weber. Quiero felicitar a la secretaria general del Partido Popular Europeo, la presidenta Dolors Montserrat, esta española que llevará el alma catalana al centro de Europa. Quiero felicitar y agradecer a los vicepresidentes que han sido elegidos, comandados por el primer ministro de Finlandia. Quiero felicitar a nuestra presidenta de todos los europarlamentarios, la presidenta Metsola. Y quiero agradecer en primer lugar a Esteban González Pons que me haya sustituido en la jornada de inauguración. También felicitarle por su generosidad al entregar el testigo a Dolors Montserrat y anunciarle que le espera grandes responsabilidades en la dirección del grupo de los eurodiputados españoles en el Parlamento Europeo. Quiero también agradecer la presencia del presidente electo de Venezuela y, por supuesto, quiero agradecer no solo su presencia, sino lo que ha hecho, pero también lo que está haciendo, la de un amigo y presidente. Un amigo y presidente que está en forma, que está más sólido que nunca y que ejerce la libertad con absoluta contundencia, como lo ha hecho siempre en su carrera política. Muchas gracias, presidente Aznar, por lo que haces, por lo que has hecho y por lo que sigues haciendo por España, por Europa y por la libertad. Queridos amigos, hemos fijado el rumbo del primer partido de los europeos, empezando por Valencia y llegando a cualquier ciudadano de la Unión, porque el futuro no espera, se construye y se reconstruye, y los problemas y los retos no se esquivan, se afrontan. Vivimos tiempos muy difíciles, incertidumbre, inestabilidad, amenazas reales. Pero también vivimos oportunidades, oportunidades que podemos alcanzar desde nuestras convicciones. Europa necesita claridad, necesita firmeza, necesita credibilidad. Y eso es lo que representamos, y eso es lo que traemos. Queremos una Europa que no olvide quién es, ni de dónde viene, porque nuestras raíces es y son nuestra fortaleza. Las raíces cristianas, humanistas, europeas. Tenemos unos valores que han sido la argamasa de la fundación de la Unión Europea: la libertad, la dignidad, la esperanza. Y por todo ello no podemos permitir que se desdibujen o se diluyan. El Partido Popular es el corazón, la cabeza y el alma de Europa. Somos el gran partido europeo que construyó Europa, porque nuestros valores, los de este partido, son los valores de la Unión. Somos, pues, el partido de los europeos. Por eso somos los mejores para diseñar la Europa del presente y para dibujar la Europa del futuro. Queremos una Europa que proteja, que cree, que innove, que compita, que defienda su modelo y que mire sin complejos. Queremos una Europa que actúe, que defienda sus fronteras, que ordene sus flujos migratorios con responsabilidad y con humanidad, que respete a quien llega y exija respeto a quien acoge. Queremos una Europa que escuche a su gente, que se ocupe de las prioridades y de los problemas reales de los ciudadanos, que impulse el campo, la pesca, la ganadería, que sostiene la tierra y alimenta al mundo, que esté al servicio de las personas. Queremos una Europa que hable con voz propia, diversa, pero que no se divida, respetuosa, pero que no se someta, diplomática, pero que no se calle. Vamos a colaborar para que Europa no se diluya en el mundo. Y voy a trabajar para que España no se diluya como nación, porque España es una de las naciones más antiguas de la Tierra y por eso España seguirá siendo una unidad dentro de la Unión Europea. Pero también vamos a trabajar para que Europa no se diluya, ni en los Estados Unidos ni en China. Europa tiene que ser Europa, con su cultura, con sus valores, con sus objetivos. Europa tiene que reivindicarse como lo que es, como una potencia global del mundo. Y para la Europa que queremos, tenemos liderazgos sólidos. Tenemos a la presidenta Ursula von der Leyen, tenemos a la presidenta Metsola, tenemos al presidente Manfred Weber y tenemos a la secretaria general Dolors Montserrat. Manfred siempre me gana en todo. Ha dicho que ha nacido en un pueblo de 1.200 habitantes. Yo he nacido en un pueblo que no llega a medio millar. Ha dicho que en su pueblo hay 4 bares, en el mío solo queda uno. Manfred siempre me gana en todo, salvo en fútbol, que gana España. Pero ahora con esta alianza hispano-germana vamos a seguir trabajando por todos los países de la Unión. He puesto el ejemplo de Manfred y el mío, y perdonadlo, para acreditar que aquí se puede llegar sin haber nacido en las grandes ciudades de Europa, sin haber tenido grandes conurbaciones urbanas que protejan, sino desde los pequeños pueblos que son realmente los que crean Europa. Todos y cada uno de los europeos que viven en los lugares más recónditos del continente. Esos son a los que servimos. No servimos ni a capitales propios ni extraños. No tenemos más interés que los ciudadanos europeos. No tenemos más aliados que la libertad y que los ciudadanos a los que servimos. Y por eso somos el Partido Popular, el Partido del Pueblo, el Partido de los Trabajadores, el Partido del Mérito, del esfuerzo, de la capacidad. Por eso somos el primer partido de Europa. Tenemos grandes líderes como Friedrich Merz, que volverá a poner a funcionar el motor de Europa. O como Donald Tusk, que ha devuelto Polonia a la senda del europeísmo y al buen gobierno. O como Kyriakos Mitsotakis, que sigue demostrando que es uno de los grandes líderes de la Unión. O como nuestro amigo que no ha podido estar aquí, Luis Montenegro, que volverá a ganar las elecciones en Portugal. Rangel, dale nuestro apoyo a través de tu vicepresidencia al primer ministro portugués. Tenemos grandes líderes como Orpo o como Plenković. Tenemos un gran vicepresidente amigo de España como Tajani, que es sin duda uno de los grandes vicepresidentes de la Unión. Tenemos grandes líderes en el Partido Popular Europeo. Queridos amigos, finalizo ya. Construiremos más y mejor Europa desde España también. España necesita un cambio, lo saben todos. Lo saben incluso aquellos que han votado al Partido Socialista. España necesita un cambio que pondrá a nuestra nación mirando hacia el futuro. Y también este cambio en España mejorará Europa. El cambio está cerca, porque cada vez lo piden más españoles. Y será real, porque lo construiremos desde la responsabilidad, desde la honradez y desde la verdad. Contamos con todos vosotros para lograrlo. Como contamos con vosotros para sacar adelante un compromiso del Partido Popular Español, pero también digo, un compromiso personal como presidente de ese partido, un compromiso con la Comunitat Valenciana de invertir 12.000 millones de euros para resetear la economía valenciana y volver a invertir en infraestructuras, especialmente hidráulicas e hídricas en Valencia. Ese compromiso, quiero decirlo una vez más, está más vigente que nunca. Estoy más convencido que nunca que invertiremos esa cantidad que el Gobierno de España le está negando. Y trabajaré para utilizar todos los fondos europeos que tengamos a nuestra disposición para invertir esos 12.000 millones de euros en Valencia, porque es de justicia y es mi compromiso. Finalizo ya. Hemos estado aquí en Valencia, con todo lo que supone, para decir que no vamos a mirar hacia otro lado ante los problemas y los retos. No estamos aquí para resignarnos, insisto, sino para transformar. No estamos aquí para prometer, sino para cumplir. Y lo haremos. Lo haremos por España. Lo haremos por Europa. Lo haremos por el futuro que merece nuestra gente. Gracias. Gracias a todos por comenzar desde Valencia la construcción y la reconstrucción que tenemos por delante. Gracias por haber hecho de España el centro de Europa, mientras otros creen que su ombligo es el centro del mundo. Para el Partido Popular de España ha sido un honor, querido Manfred, queridos compañeros, que corresponderemos. Corresponderemos con nuestro trabajo, con nuestro compromiso con el proyecto europeo y con el cambio que merece España para hacer una Europa más sólida, más fuerte y más popular. Muchas gracias, buen viaje, aquí tenéis vuestra casa. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alberto Núñez Feijóo, for your final words. But before leaving this Congress, because this is the end, I'd like to invite all the EPP leaders to come on the stage to listen to the hymn, and after that, to take the family photo. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you. This is the end.
you.